Hey guys, Second Boy here, hoping that the sound records. Um, so first time ever, I've actually had to use two question marks at the beginning rather than actually in the normal title. But you'll see why. I haven't played, I suppose you could call this, um, this in a really long time. So I don't remember a lot of it. So we're kind of exploring together. Let's take a look. Multiple option. Wait, give me a second. Ugh. A story by Annan, retold by multiple option. I'm trying to get this to run at full speed. I'm what you could call a collector. Just look at the picture on the top because you're not going to get something better than that. Because, yeah, a story by Annan, blah, 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 is kind of covering part of it. So I'll read it off of something I wrote down. I'm what you would call a collector of bootleg Pokemon games. Pokemon Diamond and Jade, Chaos Black, etc. It's amazing the frequency at which you can find them at pawn shops, Goodwill, and flea markets and such. They're generally fun, even if they are unplayable, which they often are. The mistranslations and poor quality make them unintentionally humorous. Okay, so right off the bat, I've got one complaint. Multiple option, or Annan, I think it might have been Annan, I'm not sure, doesn't matter, decided to put pictures of actual Pokemon games on there. Do they even realize that this is actually a bootleg game, technically, because it's a game about Pokemon that is not technically accepted as a game by Nintendo or Game Freak? Whatever. I've been able to find most of the ones that I've played online, but there's one that I haven't seen any mention of. I bought it at a flea market about 5 years ago. Here's a picture of the cartridge, in case anyone recognizes it. Unfortunately, when I moved 2 years ago, I lost the game when I came home from summer vacation. I think I left it at the hotel. It's kind of a shady cartridge. That's all I got to say about that. Just shady. The game started with the familiar Nidorino and Gengar intro of Red and Blue version. However, the press start screen had been altered. As you see here, although you probably can't see my cursor. Maybe you'll be able to see that. Here, I got, well, this is a picture that was attached to the game. So it's my new background on this thing, so, Anyway. Yeah. However, the press start screen had been altered. Red is there, but the Pokemon do not cycle through. It also said black version under the Pokemon logo. Upon selecting new game, the game started the Professor Oak speech, and it quickly became evident that the game was essentially Pokemon Red version. After selecting a starter, if you looked at your Pokemon, you had, in addition to Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, another Pokemon. Ghost. The Pokemon is level 1. It had the sprite of the ghost in Pokemon Tower before obtaining a Silph Scope. It had one attack, Curse. I know that there's a real move named Curse, but that attack did not exist in Generation 1, so it appears it was hacked in. Defending Pokemon were unable to attack Ghost. It would only say they were too scared to move. When the move Cursed was used in battle, the screen cut to black. The cry of the defending Pokemon would be heard, but it was distorted, played at a much lower pitch than normal. The battle screen would then reappear, and the defending Pokemon would be gone. I don't know why it decided to, say that on the picture. It's not necessary, but if used in a battle against a trainer, when the Pokeballs representing their Pokemon would appear in the corner, they would have one fewer Pokeball. The implication was that the Pokemon died. What's even stranger is that after defeating a trainer and seeing Red receive $200, Poké-yen actually, not dollars, for winning, the battle commands would appear again. If you selected Run, the battle would end as it normally does. You could also select Curse. If you did, upon returning to the overworld, the trainer sprite would be gone. After leaving and re-entering the area, the spot where the trainer had been would be replaced with a tombstone like the ones at Pokemon Tower near Lavender Town. The move Curse was not usable in all instances. It would fail against ghost Pokemon. It would also fail if it was used against trainers that you would have to face again, such as Arrival or Giovanni. It was usable in your final battle against them, however. I figured this was the gimmick of the game, allowing you to use the previously uncapturable ghosts. And because Curse made the game so easily, I essentially used it throughout the whole adventure. The game changed quite a bit after defeating the Elite Four, though. After viewing the Hall of Fame, which consisted of Ghost and a couple of very underleveled Pokemon, the screen cut to black. A box appeared with the words, "Many years later." Sorry for the choppy sound. It then cut to Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. An old man was standing, looking at tombstones. You then realized this man was your character. The man moved at only half of your normal walking speed. You no longer had any Pokemon with you, not even Ghost, who up to this point had been impossible to remove from your party through depositing in the PC. The overworld was entirely empty. There were no people at all. There were still the tombstones from the trainers I had used, that you used Curse on, however. Only by walking around did I realize how many tombstones there were, how many trainers I had cursed. You could go pretty much anywhere in the overworld at this point, though your movement was limited by the fact you had no Pokemon to use HMs. And regardless of where you went, the music of Lavender Town continued on an infinite loop. After wandering for a while, I found if you go through Diggett's cave, one of the cuttable bushes that normally blocks the path on the other side is no longer there. This allowed you to advance and return to Pallet Town. Upon entering your house and going to the exact tile where you would start the game, the screen would cut to black. Then a sprite of a Caterpie appeared. It was replaced by a Ponyta. And then a Pidgey. I soon realized, as the Pokemon progressed from Rattata to Blastoise, that these were all of the Pokemon I had used Curse on. After the end of my rival's Pokemon team, a youngster appeared. Then a Gambler. And then my rival. These, and so many more, were the trainers I had cursed. Throughout the sequence, the Lavender Town music was playing, but it was slowly decreasing in pitch. By the time your rival appeared on the screen, it was little more than a demonic rumble. Another cut to black. A few moments later, the battle screen suddenly appeared. Your trainer sprite was now that of an old man, the same one as the one who teaches you how to catch Pokemon in Viridian City. Ghost appeared on the other side, along with the words, "Ghost wants to fight." You couldn't use items, and you had no Pokemon. If you tried to run, you couldn't escape. The only option was fight. If using fight would immediately cause you to use struggle, which didn't affect Ghost, but did chip off a bit of your own HP. When it was Ghost's turn to attack, it would simply say ... Eventually, when your HP reached a critical point, Ghost would finally use Curse. The screen cut to black a final time. Regardless of the buttons you press, you're permanently stuck in this black screen. At this point, the only thing you could do is turn the Game Boy off. When it played again, new game was the only option. The game had erased the save file. I played through this hacked game many times. And every time, the game ended with this sequence. Several times I didn't use Ghost at all, though it was impossible to remove them from the party. In these cases, it did not show any Pokemon or trainers and simply cut to the climactic battle with Ghost. I'm not sure what the motives were behind the creator of this hack. It wasn't widely distributed, so it was presumably not for monetary gain. It was very well done for a bootleg. It seems he was trying to convey a message, though it seems I am the sole receiver of this message. I'm not entirely sure what it was. The inevitability of death? The pointlessness of it? Perhaps he was simply trying to morbidly inject death and darkness into a children's game. There is something overly protective about the Pokemon world. The Pokemon are your weapons, but they are your friends. They fight to the death, but never die. They are always waiting for you at the Pokemon Center, healed and ready for another adventure. It's a bit like Nintendogs. The puppies never grow up, remaining small, playful, innocent. You care for them, play with them, but they never deal with the one thing we all have to deal with, growing old, the curse of our morality. Maybe this hack is a joke to scare children, but do kids ever ask, can Pokemon die? They might after playing this. Maybe that was the point, to make the player think, what happens when Pokemon die? And perhaps that's the most scary thing of all, because that means Ghost's curse is true, and if we are cursed, what happens to us when we die? Remember I said that I lost the cartridge of this hack when I came home from summer vacation? That wasn't completely true. I didn't lie about not having the cartridge anymore, but I didn't lose it. I got rid of it intentionally. I went back to the flea market and sold it cheap to the first stranger who came near. He thinks he got away with a bargain, but I didn't tell him. A day before, I played the hack again, for the last time. I played as I usually did and finished the game. The screen went black and the game froze, as it did before. I was about to turn my Game Boy off when the phone rang. I left the room. I talked on the phone for about 15 minutes. After hanging up, I heard something from my room. I came in and saw something on the Game Boy screen. I was excited. Maybe there was more to this hack than I realized. I picked up the Game Boy. There were 2 red lights on the screen. Suddenly, a message appeared under the lights. There were only 4 words. It read, yeah, Ghost curses you, Red. And that's it. The game is actually stuck, just like in there. So, let me go over some oddities in this. First of all, if you want a creepypasta to remain creepy, don't freaking change the viewing. It went from first person to second person. I mean, really. And then all of a sudden it's you. Yeah. And then it's I again. Anyway, more complaints here. Oh yeah, injecting death and darkness into a children's game. Incorrect. It's not a children's game. It is, in fact, the original was for adults. For instance, let's use an example for starters, as a casino. That's a big part. There was also yeah, let's use an example that was kind of given in this at one point, but not like the same example. See, the original translation was from Japanese to English. He didn't say that he needed coffee. No, the dude was passed out drunk. So, yeah. Not a children's game. It is now, but not back then. But when I was like 9-ish, I I read the original pasta, and for about a year, I was scared of death itself. So, yeah. It's kind of freaky. Didn't have the whole ghost curses you or any of the memorable blah blah blah. Also, why would he lie to us at the beginning and still tell you at the end? If you're gonna lie, then the least you could have done is just left it there. Also, it looks like Ghost Smile here. It was made in paint. But overall, it's a great pasta. Really worth the read. I have no idea how long this has been by this point. But I want to thank you guys for watching my very strange Poké playthrough. You can't really call it a playthrough at all because not playing anything, and it's again one episode. But you know what? I want to thank you guys for watching it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And always remember, bootlegged Pokemon games are good. Not for Nintendo or Game Freak, but usually they're pretty funny. And if anybody can actually program a ROM or something for this game that is not using guillotine and patching a name over it and giving it 2 billion accuracy, if anybody can make a ROM hack of the original games like this, tell me immediately. Get it through. I know about Creepy Black Beta Release 3, but that's it. Just Beta Release 3. Viridian Forest. It's only Viridian Forest that's been programmed. So, whatever. If Beta Release 4 has come out, somebody tell me. I want to thank you for watching again. And just checking stuff out here. Surprisingly, no jump scares. I could have sworn there were. But you know what? Okay. This music is starting to give me a headache. So, last time, thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, then, well, leave a like. I'm not a beggar for it. Just do it if you like it, because liking, you should leave a like to things that you like. So, I plan on doing more of these creepypastas. Maybe, yeah. But I need you guys to give me your feedback. So, put something in the comments. How you receive this video will determine whether I go back to only playing games or if I do some readings and such. See you guys next time.